Welcome back, guys. So I'm back with another video. Today I'm actually discussing why I chose biomedical engineering over some other majors that I was previously interested in. I talked a little bit about this, but I almost chose aerospace engineering and then mechanical engineering before biomedical engineering. And so if you've watched a little bit of the previous videos, you already know why I didn't go with aerospace engineering. I loved engineering, but the biggest thing was I didn't want to work on systems that are really, really large. I had a really hard time visualizing things, and if I can't see them directly in front of me and I'm not able to see the immediate impact, I'm not gonna really excel in those areas. I have a difficult time. I need to be able to visualize the things I'm trying to solve. So that brought me to the field of engineering. Now, what engineering do I go into? So, really getting right into it, why did I not choose mechanical engineering? I feel like that's a very common decision that people have to make, especially as biomedical engineers, is do I go into mechanical engineering, something a little bit more broad, or do I go into biomedical engineering? So both options are really strong, right? I will say, I think one of the biggest things that led me into choosing biomedical engineering was because I really wanted to have that impact as an engineer to patients specifically. I really wanted to be involved in the health field, the medicine field, and to understand things from a scientific portion. Now, that is not to say that as a mechanical engineer you cannot do that. And that is why that option was always there, is maybe I just go into mechanical engineering, but I will do things that are in the biomed area. You can definitely do that. Mechanical engineering covers a broad range of things. So you can actually, as a mechanical engineer, go into aerospace. I could have done mechanical engineering, gone into more computer space, could have gone into the biomed space. But I didn't want my entire college career, especially 4 or 5 years that I'm spending in school, to just be very mechanical. I wanted to learn about the body, anatomy, physiology, more of the science. I needed something exciting and innovative in that area. And so I really enjoyed problem solving, building science, math. And so I said, okay, mechanical engineering is going to be a great backup. If I don't get into a school that has biomedical engineering, that I can really do what I want, mechanical engineering is going to be great. And the second reason is that mechanical engineering has a lot of job opportunity. It's a little bit broader, so the breadth of different jobs that you can really achieve with this major is a little bit, I would say, a bit more than biomedical engineering. Biomedical engineering is a little bit more niche because you're now getting the science knowledge and you're spending a lot of time doing that. So a lot of employers are going to look at it and say, hey, you have a lot of like scientific knowledge, but we just want a mechanical engineer that can solve this problem. We don't really care about your science stuff. And so sometimes it's a little bit hard going from biomedical to mechanical. It's a little bit easier going mechanical to biomedical. And, I can't say that for every situation because it's so different. Sometimes you have to see it the other way. It's not always true. And some people will probably argue with me to say the other way around, that it's easier to go from biomed to mechanical engineering jobs and not that easy to go from mechanical to biomed because now you're lacking the science. I think either way, there are some pros and cons with both jobs, but the reason I'm having this video is what drew me to engineering in the first place and why did I ultimately choose biomedical instead of mechanical. So kind of coming back to that. So first of all, for engineering in general, do you like problem solving, right? Do you like building things? Do you like science? Do you like math? These are things you want to answer. If you're a very creative person already by nature, your mind's always like, hey, can I like try to solve this problem this way? Or can I like design something? Can I draw something this way? Can I build something? If you like and enjoy a lot of that, then engineering is a great place to be. Business is going to be more on the finance side. You like money, you like to understand numbers. If you're and you want to do like math with that, I think that's more of that. You're not doing a lot of like designing per se. I'm sure there's some level of designing involved in some of the decisions you're making, but it's not going to be as engineering. It's not going to be like engineering. Then you have like the traditional space that I feel like everyone is going into as a college major is computer science. And there are different areas in computer science, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but you shouldn't choose your major just because, oh yeah, it's going to make a lot of money because I'm in tech. Don't do that. because you're actually going to have to wake up one day after college, and you're probably going to have to go to the job that you signed your degree up for. Are you going to be motivated enough just by money alone to wake up every day, go to your job for a majority of your day and majority of your life, come back home, make money, and then eat, sleep, repeat? If the answer right now feels like, yeah, you're like, yeah, I really just like money, I don't care about anything else, great. By all means, go for it. But if that's going to make you happy. But I think at the end of the day, you're spending so much time at work, if you think about it, probably 8 hours a day out of 24 hours. It's already a third of your day. So 33% of your day is already at work. Now add some commute time. Let's say you travel like an hour. I'll average it. Some people have longer commutes, some people have shorter. So you spend an hour each way. So now that's 2 hours. Now you're at 10 out of 24 hours. That is a long time just for work. But once you come home from your 9 to 5, how much time are you actually going to have? Because let's say you end your 9 to 5. You come back home. It's about 6 p.m. Well, now you're cooking, making dinner. And now it's like 7:30 p.m. And now you really only have like 2 hours to yourself to do whatever you want. Is that enough time to get into your other creative outlets about stuff you really like and to evolve in those areas and advance? And you're okay doing that for only a limited portion of your day, and then going to sleep around 9:30, 10, because trust me, you'll get old and sleepy and tired very quickly with work. But you're fine to just go to sleep, wake up the next day, and go do your work and roll out of bed. And you're motivated enough to do that. Really think about that, because at the end of the day, money isn't the only thing. That's a lot of time you're spending in your day. 10, 12 hours, almost 50% of your day is just work. Then you're going to spend probably the next 20% of it just doing like day-to-day stuff. 20-30%, it's just eating, cooking, right? You're taking a shower, you're getting ready, you're commuting, doing that. So you really only have like 20% of your day left. Is that really enough for you to keep going for all these years in your life to build a career in that area? Now it's different for everyone and everyone's situation, so I don't want to speak for everyone. But do make sure you're thinking about that. Think about the future. Are you going to be okay with that? Might be okay for a little bit, but sometimes your motivation will be like, I don't care anymore now. I just need to find something I really like. So make sure you're thinking about that. And for me, I knew like engineering is a pathway that I really like. I'm not going to go into IT or computer science. Everyone's going into it. Yeah, they make a lot of money. Even doctors, you make a significant amount, surgeons. But the offset is surgeons and becoming a doctor takes a lot of years. And I did not want to sacrifice my 20s for that. And also, it's very expensive. So I didn't really want to go into that pathway. The other high achieving money pathway is obviously computer science. But also, look at the turnaround and the layoffs that can happen. It comes with risk too of its own. Yeah, you're making a lot of money for a period of time, but then you're quickly, I don't know, you could get laid off. I mean, sometimes you have great stability, that's great, but you can get quickly laid off and you'll have to find another job. Are you okay with being on that hunt over and over and over again? And are you okay with being able to learn so many different things? Because tech is crazy. There's so many different areas you need to learn to stay on top of it and on top of your game in the industry, right? So I think different fields come with different risks. I think that's something to consider. For me, engineering, I just really like building things. And yeah, I could build software and stuff, but I didn't want to sit at the computer all day. I want to be in lab for a little bit. I want to be on my desk for a little bit. I want to sit there, think about things, think about processes. I want to build things. And ultimately, I want to help patients. So I decided like engineering is the best place for me to go. But now what part of engineering, right? So there's different things I think that are great about each area, depending on the skills and some of the courses that you're taking. I'll say a lot of foundational courses like your freshman, sophomore year of college, especially, or even in high school that you take, AP classes, even like normal, regular, or honors classes that you take in the science field. They're like very foundational. It's not fun. Even as a biomedical engineer, I was like, dang, what is this? Like, I don't want to learn about the same stuff that I learned about in high school for these foundational courses. But there's stuff you're gonna have to get through. I think it wasn't until like year 3 or 4 where I was like, okay, yeah, now it's interesting because some of these courses, yes, they are very technical, but I get to tie in my bio or physics or chem knowledge and like apply it to other areas of this field. You actually learn about things and apply them to particular scenarios or examples of real world applications that you'd be actually working on. So I think that part is really cool because once you get to the application based classes, that's where it gets interesting. You're like, okay, now I understand why I needed to know this. I have this knowledge. I got through that stupid foundational class I had to take, freshman bio or something, but I can actually use it in a way that's useful. So sometimes it's not just about the courses, but it's more so about the future. Like what types of things are you going to apply this knowledge to? So don't just hone yourself on courses. I will say if you're trying to figure out what area you're going to and you know what types of courses you like, look at the plan of study for different majors if you're deciding in college. So look at the plan of study, look at the types of courses, look at the descriptions. Maybe there's some Reddit threads that you can search for or students you can reach out to learn a little bit more about their experiences. But courses aren't the only thing because sometimes it's just very like foundational and you don't actually really get to the fun stuff until you actually do it, whether that's in a future class or like an experience. So for me, I just gravitate a little bit more towards the biomed side. I think some of the courses were more interesting, very like anatomy, physiology based. Mechanical felt a little bit, um, I don't know what other word to use other than mechanical because that's really what it is. It wasn't giving me that like science and spice that comes with science and like exploration. It wasn't giving me that excitement because I'm like, wait, science is like a field of unknown things. Like it, technically you can never solve science, right? There's so many different things. There's gonna be new things, and yeah, there's gonna be new things in mechanical too. But I think something about science is like nobody really knows, and I think that's what keeps you on your toes. So for me, I knew that biomedical engineering, something health engineering related, was what's gonna be it for me. Mechanical engineering is a little bit too broad for me. Personally, I want to be a little bit more niche. I want to have a little bit more impact closer to patients. I feel like I would be a little bit more closer in terms of impact level if I was in the BME field rather than focusing on like machines or materials for mechanical engineering. So that's why I found mechanical engineering a little bit less appealing to me. Great option because I can still go into biomed or aerospace if I wanted to, but I just didn't care too much about machines, materials. Like someone else can build that. So biomedical engineering and specifically, how did I actually hear about it? I straight up did a rabbit hole search on Google, and I was like, what the heck can I do with engineering and something that's health related? And I came across biomedical engineering. I'll say there's two distinctions because you might go to colleges and you'll hear about biomedical engineering, and some colleges have bioengineering. They are a bit different. The programs are a little different. So if you are trying to figure out what area you want to go into, ask a lot of questions and like pay particular attention to these. Biomedical engineering is more, in my opinion, more medical device heavy. So you will get that mechanical knowledge, you will get that medical device knowledge. Bioengineering is more so on the cell tissue culture side. So you're doing a lot more with the biochem physics portion. Actually, I shouldn't say physics, the more of the bio and chem, and you're really going nitty gritty to understand like cells and how things of that sort work. Whereas a biomed school will probably focus more on the medical devices, the mechanics of it, how do you build it. You're looking at things from a slightly broader perspective. Cells, you're going very like micro. So think of biomed as a little bit macro on like systems, machines, devices. Bioengineering, cells, micro, very microscopic, very particular, very specific, very chem bio heavy. So if you know you don't like one area over the other, make sure you're paying particular attention to that because sometimes you'll find schools when you actually do design courses, freshman design, sophomore design, junior design, senior design, that sequence of courses will have you solving problems that are a little bit more oriented to whatever that major is. So for the college I went to, it was biomedical engineering. We did a lot of medical device heavy stuff. And people complained, why aren't we doing more tissue culture? Why aren't we doing stuff with the immune system? Cancer. That I would say is more bioengineering. So a lot of schools who are doing bioengineering will have more labs and resources to do that. And you will probably do more design problems and solving in a school like that rather than a biomed school. So pay attention to what resources they offer. I'm not going to say that you still don't get like, you still get exposure to bioengineering even if you're in a biomed school, but just not to that same extent. So if you're really interested in one area or the other, check that out as a way to kind of figure things out. I knew I didn't really like bioengineering as much, but I didn't learn that until I finished college because I was like, oh wait, this is actually, I'm actually really glad that I ended up at a biomed school, not bioengineering. I think for me, right, like another thing I want to touch on, like what just clicked for me for biomedical engineering. I think it's really like seeing things that people use on a day-to-day basis, implants, right? I mean, I feel like people are getting like knee replacements all the time now. um, People are using like devices like the continuous blood glucose monitors for like diabetes monitoring. So you see a lot of things like day to day, like people use all the time, inhalers, right, for asthma. People are getting like vaccines, I mean, all sorts of things, right? Anything that basically makes a surgeon or a doctor. I think that's what really clicked for me because I was like, yeah, I feel really close to a patient because I can sit there and be the brains of solving that person's problem for the rest of their life. And I want them to remember me if I do a really good job. And hopefully I do a good job, but that's always the end goal. I like the mix of biology, I like the mix of engineering, and specifically I had lots of personal family members, right, that not a lot of family members, but I knew family members who were going through knee replacements, kind of seeing the hospital side, knew I didn't care about being a doctor and like just figuring out what's the root cause of your problem and maybe here's a medication. I wanted to actually make that medication. I wanted to be the big brains behind that. So it was that, and then doing more class projects and realizing, damn, like I really love this. It's really awesome. And I think the more I did it, the more I fell in love with. And I just really love the major I chose. And I think if I didn't choose this major, I wouldn't be as motivated to wake up every day. But I think always knowing the fact that, hey, at the end of the day, whatever I'm working on, it's actually going to go to a patient and hopefully help their life. Maybe small impact, or maybe a really significant impact. It's a really big thing to know. It's like, I really help that person and live a better life. And maybe if I have that issue in the future, it's going to come full circle. A future biomed will maybe be able to solve my problem. So I think this is everything that kind of clicked for me. I just really fell in love, and became really passionate for this field. A lot of things that I hated at first, slowly understood what is the end goal of this thing, and kind of started to fall in love with what I do. Again, like just before committing to one or the other fields, right? Just make sure you're doing some shadowing. You can do summer programs. They're weekly programs. If you're already in the field, right, and maybe you already got your bachelor's and you're deciding what to do for your master's, maybe if you didn't like biomedical engineering, maybe you can think of something that's a little bit more broad, similar in the area. You already have that knowledge, right? So think of a master's that could help you advance in a different area that you can really excel in, because hopefully you know a little bit more about yourself if you've already graduated with your bachelor's. You can talk to people who are PhDs, talk to professors, right? Talk to mentors. Definitely use the community to help you figure that out. Like, we are all here, like, especially the biomed community. I know it's hard to find a lot of us because we are pretty niche, but we're here to help you because we've got a lot of those experiences, and you probably have questions that I had questions about or other people have got questions about, and we're here to help figure that out. Whether it's you're still I feel like a lot of this video might seem like I'm just talking to high schoolers, but think about it also from like, oh, if you're a professional in the field like I am, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what pathway I want to go into. I think I know what I want to go into, but I still gotta get there. So I think really honing in on your network is gonna really help. Sometimes you don't even know what you like, and you realize, oh my gosh, this place has it. I'll say one thing: I didn't realize that medical device existed in farmland. And I was really upset at first because I was like, I don't want to do just pharma. I really do miss med device. I have a good med device experience, research experience, and thesis. I want to leverage that. And then I found out, hey, pharma has med devices. So I can go into the device land of pharma and kind of still use those skills to grow in that area. So sometimes you don't know until you talk to people. I think one thing you will hear a lot about is the risks with biomedical engineering, worrying about job prospects. I know my parents said, hey, people aren't getting jobs in BME. It's too niche, it's too small, it's hard to find jobs. Yeah, it's hard to find jobs, but make sure you stand out. If you can stand out in this field, you will be able to find a job. It's going to be a little bit tougher because maybe jobs aren't as frequent because the turnaround isn't as much as like IT, where it's also oversaturated. But the thing is, focus on the area you're passionate about, right? At the end of the day, if you're passionate about it, you're going to excel in it automatically. If you can excel in it, people are going to recognize that. They're going to have to eventually. And that's going to help you get that job. So I think at the end of the day, yeah, getting a job at the end of the day is a big worry, right? But if you're choosing something that you like, you're going to excel in it automatically. It's just going to come by nature. And I think the jobs will follow and you won't have to worry about it. So I think I definitely did make the right decision. And I think looking back, I just love how many different areas I can still go into it, even though, yes, I have some niche skills that I can cater towards. But, if I ever want to change my mind and go into a different area of biomed, or maybe even poke myself back into aerospace one day, I know I can. It's still achievable for me because the field is so broad, but it still gives you so many different experiences that you can use in other fields, in other areas. So, if you're torn between biomedical engineering and another major, ask yourself, do you want to work on problems that directly impact human health? For me, the answer was yes, and that's why I chose BME. So make sure you're really thinking about that question. Do you want to work on problems that are going to directly impact human health? And if you're deciding between majors, drop your questions in the comments. If you're deciding between jobs, also drop your comments. I want to make sure I cover all these questions in a future video. I really like the engagement. And if you want to join our biomedical engineering community, I am trying to build that out. It is small for now, but we've got a group of people. I want to make sure everyone involved is actually active and we are being able to leverage each other, whether it's for job stuff or just general questions. That's why we're here. We're here for the community. So if you are interested in joining the community, make sure you engage and drop a comment on this channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more videos as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.